Hello artists, Mrs. Castle here, and we're going to do gradations with watercolor. And don't forget to put your name and your period. Don't copy my period, put your own period. Time when I get to do work like this is usually 5th period, but you put your period, not mine.
Mrs. Sullivan to the office, please. Mrs. Sullivan to the main office.
Okay, I'm just going to draw some shapes. You can do gradations in any kind of a shape. You're just going to go a different direction. So beside your piece of watercolor paper, make sure it's the watercolor paper. And you can tell it's the watercolor paper because of this texture. So make sure you get the right kind. You need a water dish, you need a little mixing tray, and you need a watercolor set. So what I'm gonna, and a brush. What I'm gonna do first is put some water, not a lot, don't go over to the sink, and put, fill these to the top with water, because that's gonna be way too much water, and we need to be able to add some water to this as we go. Okay, so now I'm gonna make some washes by taking the watercolor and adding it to my little mixing tray. I'm gonna test it. Okay, that's pretty dark, so that'll work well. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. It would also be good if you have a paper towel. To touch off the excess water, because you really don't want excess water. Okay, and you can touch the brush to the edge of the water dish. I'm touching it. I'm not flicking back and forth, because that flips water everywhere and nobody likes that. Okay, so I'm going to take my first color. That's not quite as dark as I thought it was. So I'm going to mix. Let's see. Okay, if your first color is pretty dark or pretty intense, then it's going to be easier to I started with too much water, so be careful. Like, only start with like a drop or two. Okay, so now I'm going to dip my brush and I'm going to touch the excess water off. And partway, like quarter or third of the way in, I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna dip my brush, touch off the excess, and start overlapping my second color, and I'm gonna paint 2 or 3 stripes. Dip my brush, touch the excess off, and I'm gonna paint 2 or 3 stripes until I get to the bottom of the box. Okay, so I have this puddle here. This is my favorite watercolor trick. I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to squeeze the bristles. Oops, can't see. I'm going to squeeze the bristles, and I'm just going to gently touch where the puddle is. No more puddle. It sucks it right up. And the other color will kind of gradually fill in that little spot where I touched. It's almost filled in already. Okay, let's try that again. Let's see. I'm gonna start with less water. So I only have like a drop, and a drop would be dip your brush and touch it into, do that again. I'm gonna take that mostly out. This way. All right, I'm gonna dip my brush in the water and then scrape it into my little well. That's one drop, okay? Let's do green. And this is very soggy already, so it shouldn't take long for the green to get kind of dark. Okay, let's get some more. A lot of students will come to me and say, my green is empty, and that's not quite empty. There's paint on the side here, which can be used when it's completely white. This red is empty. There's no extra anywhere. Then when it's like that, you can come ask me for more. Okay, that's pretty good. There's a lot of glare. It's hard for you to see the color. That's a little better. Okay, so start, paint like 2 or 3 stripes. You need kind of big boxes. See how big the box is compared to my hand? So then I'm gonna dip and touch off the excess. Don't rinse, just dip. I'm gonna overlap and paint 2 or 3 stripes. Dip, touch off on the side, make 2 or 3 stripes. Dip, touch off the excess, and then I only have room for 1 more stripe. And now I'm gonna suck up my puddle. Rinse your brush, squeeze the bristles. I'm not twisting, I'm just squeezing. And I'm just sucking up the excess water. I'm not gonna leave that. That will kind of spread out as time goes by. All right, one more time. 1 drop of water. Let's do this turquoise blue. Get color, mix it in. I'm gonna get some color, mix it in. Let's test how dark it is. That's nice and dark already. I'm gonna paint 2 like 2.5 stripes, dip, touch off the excess. I'm overlapping. 1, 2, 3, dip, touch the excess off. 1, 2, 3. That was way brighter because that was really soggy paint. But I'm gonna suck up my puddle, rinse your brush, squeeze. Okay. All right. I would like you to do 5 colors altogether. If you've done 3 with me, then you only need to do 2 more of your choice. Okay. So make sure that you put your own period, not mine, and when you're making your colors, make sure 1 drop in the well, and then dip, touch off on the side, and paint 2 or 3 stripes. Dip, touch off, paint 2 or 3 stripes. Okay? All right. Have fun, and I can't wait to see your gradations. Bye-bye.